And when I tell you the story is deep, it goes there. It's very transparent. A lot of you know I love the 3 words, truth, trust, and transparency, because that's how you can really become the best you and live your best life. And so it's very transparent. But before we get too much into the book, I did want to introduce Anna. A lot of you know her from Size.
Hi.
And, you know, she's very energetic, high energy, fun. We met, I'm gonna give you a story. You're probably like, why is Anna here? Why is she here helping Shaun release Tears for Transformation? Well, a friend of mine told me about Anna because she was a dancer in Charlotte, and I was there and I wanted to dance one day, and I saw her on YouTube and I was like, her energy's amazing, her choreography is fun, she laughs, she smiles, she's such good energy. And we danced together one afternoon and have been the best of friends ever since. But it goes deeper than that. Me and Anna connect on a much deeper level than just the surface of fitness and dance and happy things. We've had deeper conversations and we've been transparent with ourselves. So I thought it was no better way than to introduce to you the Anna O'Boise. And you want to kind of talk to them a little bit? I'm gonna start signing as Anna talks.
Yeah. Hey y'all, how you doing? In fact, that's a funny story. Do you remember what I did when we met that day at the studio? Fell all the way out, passed out, y'all. Okay, but I felt like I met my long lost friend or whatnot. So I love and adore you.
Thank you.
And yeah. If you have not thought about getting this book, you need to get it. This is my friend. And reading the book, I was like, say what? I mean, there were parts and things about it that I just would have never guessed in a million years, because you are such a motivator. You are a light in my life. I mean, I know I'm the funny one and the cute one, but but no, you're
and funny and crazy.
But you're a light in my life. So to know this part of you now, it was very eye-opening, and I just wanted to say, you know what, I appreciate you sharing that story and being transparent, and it's inspiring to know someone that I can directly think about when I need that type of motivation. So, y'all, I know he motivates you in the fitness videos, but this is a whole nother level. Cool thing, I do have some of your questions here. So as he's signing off on these books, I'm gonna just randomly scroll and get to your questions. So let's jump into it.
Let's go.
Alrighty. We'll just open up with a light note because this one is kind of funny. I hear that you like to sing.
Yes.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, my go-to karaoke song is Forget You by CeeLo. And here's why. You know, depends on how many drinks I've had. You know, I ain't drinking until I'm 40, but you know, either I'm singing a song Forget You or I'm singing a song, you see, I'm driving around town with the girl I love, and I'm like, forget you. The song is actually higher than that. I had to bring it down the tune. But that's my go-to karaoke song. My go-to gospel song is His Eyes on a Sparrow. And I love it because it was from Lauryn Hill, and it was from the movie Sister Act 2. And why should I feel discouraged, and why should the shadows come? That's my favorite.
Come on, note.
I mean, you know, that's nervous Shaun T singing, because I don't really sing like that in front of people. I go into a karaoke room. So
no,
there it is.
Funny thing though, we were filming Shaun T Trains Europe. We had this amazing night out. We got to do karaoke, and you went in. In fact, the whole crew went in. It was really fun. So watch the show. So next question. Cool question. It actually is something you talk about in your book. How many siblings do you have, and what is your relationship with?
Oh, this is amazing. You know, so I have 2 siblings. My brother, who was just me and my brother for the first 20 years of our lives, and I talk about him a lot in the book, and some just really deep, trying times that we've had together. And I have a 19-year-old sister. So when I was 20, my sister was born, and it was amazing. And a lot of you know that, you know, Scott and I are having twins, and we're really excited. And a lot of people ask me, you know, are you nervous to have babies? I'm like, no, because I was 20 years old, my sister was born, and then my brother had a son. I think I was like 25 at the time. So, you know, it's amazing and exciting to have twins. But So it was really just me and my brother for the longest time. He still is to this day, outside of obviously my marriage. He is literally my best friend. We still connect on a very high level. We don't see each other all the time, but if you know the struggle that I had, which you will read about in the book, you'll see that he was a very integral part of me continuing to trust and believe in myself, and I always had him there. So yes, and then my sister, who I feel like I raised her in a sense, and while I wasn't there all the time because I went to college and I had a career, my mom did a really good job of making sure that even though we were very far apart, that we stayed connected. And as you'll see in this book, I talk about the communication you have with yourself, how important it is to have communication with yourself. And I learned that from my family, just communication is the most important, no matter how close or far you are. You have to be able to communicate, even if it's good or bad. And so I'm still very close to both of my siblings, even though, they both live in New Jersey, 5 minutes away from each other, and I live in Arizona. We're still close.
Are you very protective of them?
Am I very protective of them? My mother raised us to take care of ourselves. And so I'm not nervous about them, but we are ride or die. I'm not protective in a sense, but if my brother needs me or if my sister needs me, then I just make it happen. There's really no questions asked.
I love how you share the dynamic between you and your brother in the book. It was very, very touching, and y'all got to read it. You have to read it. And I think my favorite part was later in the book when you had a moment and he was just kind of like, okay, let's go get something to eat. Like after you share something with him, I literally could see that happening just by how you described it and the vibe and energy. Reading this just literally takes knowing you on a whole nother level, and how you were just so open and sharing. Y'all, I'm not kidding you. I literally, I went back and reread some chapters, honey. I did. I went back through it, but the dynamic between you and your siblings is very, very beautiful. I know having siblings is kind of like having an early best friend, right off the gate. So
I will say that, she's talking about a specific moment in the book, which is one of the biggest, like a big monumental moment in my life. And, Ennis, if you're watching, thank you. Because, a lot of that trust and believe and dig deep and what you hear me talk about in the workouts and why I don't necessarily care what you look like, or I don't care about the six-pack that you have. I care about if you're going to continue. I care about if you continue that positive self-talk and insanity specifically, because that's when people start to really understand how things can get really tough and how I can be there for you to tell you you're right there, or the stronger you get, the better you'll feel. Or even when I say this shit is bananas, yo, because things are crazy and you have to acknowledge crazy. Not everything in life is going to be perfect, but do you acknowledge the imperfect moments? Do you acknowledge when it's times where you have to be a little bit crazier? And actually that's superpower number 7. I was going
to do a spoiler alert, but that's one of which I love, even that outline of the superpowers, because reading through it and then thinking about where I am in my life and like how it applies, it's like, wow, these can be very powerful. These can give you that superhuman push that sometimes we need in doing numerous things, So
it's really about, the superpowers. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but I will tell you that being uncomfortable, like everybody is uncomfortable every single day when you wake up, regardless of whether you're having this amazing, you can be on vacation and you're going to the beach and you can have an amazing time. No matter what, you still are striving to be better. And the more you strive to be better, the more uncomfortable that you're unconsciously being. So I challenge you in the book to get uncomfortable, because being uncomfortable is the first step to you being as successful as you will be in your life. So we'll get back to more questions.
That's the stretch. That's the stretch right there. Okay, let's go into, this is a cute question. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. I just lost it. Oh, if you were not a motivator, what other occupation would you have?
I would be a massage therapist.
Cute.
I would be a massage therapist. I don't know, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm, I like kinesiology and science in the body. I'm really connected to energetic emotion. And massage therapy is really important to me. There's a couple things that's non-negotiable in my life. That's one, I don't change anything in place of my workout for that day. That's my selfish moment, which you'll read about how to be selfish. And my recovery and my meditation time actually happens on a massage table. So, and I know what it does for me. And I'm a giver, a helper, and I love giving positive energy. As you're reading a book, how the golden rule is actually my religion and how important that is for me. And so I just think it's really important. If I wasn't giving you the gift of mental, physical, emotional fitness, I want to give you, I would want to give people energy, and I have really good hands. Trust and believe.
You got a manicure, girl. It's okay.
I actually don't, but.
Okay, in that same era, like, what's your favorite thing about transformation in a person?
Yeah, my favorite thing about transformation in a person is when you actually start to believe in yourself. Because I'll say this, a lot of people out there, they chase a number. The first thing that happens when a majority of people start a fitness program, the first thing that they say is, how much weight do I want to lose?
Yeah.
Or if someone starts a business and people say, what are your goals for this business? A lot of people say, I want to make $1 million. And so the more you chase the actual number, the less energy you actually give to the successful moments that you have as you go throughout the process. Because the successful moments of losing weight and the successful moments that you have of going to build your business is actually the things that's going to become tangible at the end. And so I like to see when people forget about the number, whether it's weight or money, and they literally connect to those small successes. And I talk in a book about why I actually wanted to get into fitness. And so I gained a lot of weight, and I go deeper into this story, but when I had only lost a little bit of weight, and I said to myself, if I can get people to feel like this, not having been anywhere close to my goal weight, if I can get people to feel like this, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And that's the moment I chose to do fitness.
Yeah.
It was, and it's funny because my first program was Hip Hop Abs. And the reason why my first program and I fell in love with it was Hip Hop Abs is because I lost the weight by dancing and I knew how good I felt. And I did get a six pack and I was extremely happy, to show off my little 6 bumps on my stomach. But I soon realized that as I started to get older, and regardless of how fit you are, you travel a lot, things change, your body, your metabolism changes. I had to go back to that moment as to why I actually got into fitness in the first place. And that's why I developed Fit Doesn't Have a Size, it has a mentality. And so I wanted people to have such a great mentality about who they are. And then the abs that you have will become secondary and the life that you live will become number one.
Right. It's like once you believe in something, it becomes real.
It becomes,
as soon as you believe it, it is real.
So transformation for me is the small successful steps that you take to eventually believe in yourself and forgetting about the number. Because the number is going to fluctuate. You're going to get on a scale. You can get on a scale right now. You go drink a glass of water. You go have a little ice cream. Your body takes 48 hours to digest food anyway, so your weight's gonna fluctuate no matter what. So are you gonna let the scale dictate how happy you are? You're not. If you never get on the scale and you work out every day and you feel really good, that's the feeling you should attempt to go after every single day.
Come on now, you better speak.
Come through.
Speak. See, that's why he's my friend.
I speak in this book.
Y'all. In fact, it should have been called Tea Time with Shaun T.
Maybe that'll be the second one.
That'll be part 2. Let's see. How about this? How do you move past regrets?
Oh, okay. So it already happened, right? And so there's layers to regret. So if I'm in a relationship at this moment and I do something to my friend, for instance, like if I did something to Anna, my regret should empower me to go communicate with her, to talk about it, to say I'm sorry. But sometimes you do things in your life because you're not mature enough yet. Sometimes you do things in your life because you haven't had experience to understand why you shouldn't do it. Sometimes you do things in your life because you haven't been to therapy to actually understand why you actually do them. So should you regret it or should you just work on it and find out why that happened? Because if you can never apologize to anybody, the one thing you can do is apologize to yourself and go actually work on yourself. So the way to get past regret is to actually focus on what that one thing is that actually made you react in a certain way. And so And then the other thing is, I talk about the secret backpack in the book. Like, we all have been through a struggle, and sometimes we move past the struggle and we say, thank God that I'm out of that relationship, or thank God that's over, or thank goodness. I don't like to use thank God, but sometimes we say that, but we forget to figure out, like, what was the strength that I actually got from that? So you can feel regret because it is a feeling, it is an emotion, but what I want you to do is work on it and figure out from that situation, what was the power that you gained and the lesson that you learned from that. And throughout the book, I challenge you. Like, I challenge you to look in the mirror. I challenge you to look at yourself. And I tell it through my story, because everybody has to come out of the closet for something. And I'm not just talking about sexuality. We all have hidden something, or right now you are hiding something. And it's not necessarily about you telling the world that, I'm a compulsive gambler. It's about you actually, I'm losing my train of thought. It's about you actually telling yourself that, and really open and getting out your own way and being honest with yourself. And so,
looking at the man in the mirror.
When it comes to regret,
with the man in the mirror. Come on.
Yes.
Hold on now. We don't want to go into a little duet.
We could do that.
But you know what, too? Just in piggybacking off of that, I think that's another cool element of the book, is that it takes you there. Like, it has, sections where you now write down what your thoughts are, your personal thoughts, or what your personal weaknesses are. It's very interactive. It's very, engaging.
Well, and I wanted to say, I didn't write this book. First of all, I have the audio book is coming out, and I'm narrating the audio book, just so you know that, so you can get excited and you can get a book, but you can listen in your car, or however you listen to podcasts or audio books. But I didn't want to write a book that you just read and then you kind of had to go back and remember. What I wanted to do is I wanted to write a book and help you become more transparent with yourself. So the lessons that are in this book, I want you to take them more seriously than that's why it's a self-help memoir, because I want to lead by example. Anything that I've ever told you to do, a power jump, a squat, a dance, a crunch, a stretch, you've seen me do. And I would never ask you to do something that I didn't do. So I want you to know that the struggle is real, and Shaun T didn't become Shaun T just because I know how to teach a class. Shaun T became Shaun T through the struggle. And Shaun T became Shaun T because there were moments in the middle of the night where I had waken up and I realized that I'm still struggling with something in the past, and I told myself I need to go to therapy. This book is the foundation to your success. Knowing yourself is the foundation to success, because if you go through life and if you just aspire, or your goals are always to please other people without knowing who you are, then you're missing out on the biggest gift. And the biggest gift in anybody's life is self. And so you have to believe and know that you matter. And this book, regardless of how some people are really successful, they own, jets, but guess what? They're unhappy. Or maybe you are happy and you want to go to the next level of happiness. This book is going to let you know who you are so that you can take those steps to be a happier, healthier.
And then the authenticity as well behind your message, and how you connect to those that are following you. It's just an amazing transformation, not to be redundant or sound corny, but that you're going to be going through as you're even reading it. I'm telling you, when I tell you I was in my feelings, like, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to call you and be like, really? Because I just, and then, because you now have this new energy, this new space, this you've transformed, you've, overcame a lot of that stuff, but it's a lot. It's heavy.
It's heavy.
Very uncomfortable even just to read. I was uncomfortable. I was almost like, oh my gosh.
Who's watching me read this?
Who's watching me read this? And then who else is going to read this and be like, I was like, I didn't want them to know, but that's part of growth and overcoming it.
And the thing is, no, and it's great. And, there's a lot of people that ask me, like, oh my gosh, you actually said that? And I'm like, yeah, I said it. Because that's what got me here. And there's a lot of people go through life just pushing things inside the closet. When you found out the one thing that I hid in the closet for years,
gosh, y'all,
it has nothing to do with when you find out what I hid in the closet for years and what I had to eventually take out of the closet. And some people, you are going to be uncomfortable. The reality is you're going to be very uncomfortable. Narrating the audiobook, I cried multiple times. I had to stop and go into the bathroom because it brought it up. But it's the end game, and not necessarily the end, because transformation is actually should be the word should be sustainability. How do you actually reach sustainability? Yeah. But I do tell you the journey, and I tell you the journey of the successes of my programs and dance all the way up until, at the present time, where for a lot of you out there who've done T25 and you got your I Nailed It shirt, and a lot of people out there who's gotten their Dig Deeper shirt, this is my badge of honor, because I was brave enough to be transparent, because I want, and you know what? If you listen to it and you start reading it and you have to put the book down, do that. Like, have your moment, because you are going to need that moment, and it's totally fine, because this book is about you. It is about you having those moments with yourself. It is about you feeling uncomfortable. It's the first superpower. So if I tell you the first superpower of the 7 is you have to get uncomfortable, but I don't get uncomfortable, you're going to be like, so what's uncomfortable? You know what I mean?
And that's what I was going to mention. It's not even so much the what, but the feeling and the reaction that came out of the bold statement that you put out. The bold truth that was out there. So,
Yeah.
So, just to transition, this particular question, and I don't know, I should have given the shout out to the person.
You can still do that.
All right, Douglas in Michigan. Hi, boo boo. So this one is, what moved your mental transformation the most over the last 5 years?
Over the last 5 years. That's an interesting, so, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but the biggest mental transformation that I had over the last 5 years is our struggle with infertility and not being able to have babies, and having relationships with many different amazing people who've tried to help us achieve the gift of a family along the way. And it was the first time in a very long time where I wanted to give up on something. It was very heavy. It was extremely, I was experiencing something that was the exact opposite of the way I think every single day, because I didn't think that trying to have kids was so hard, because we hear so many success stories.
Yeah.
But full disclosure, in the book I talk about you are the average of the 5 closest people to you. And Jeff Olson, from the author of The Slight Edge, actually instilled that in me when I read that book, and I took it to the next level of how I applied it to my life. And when it comes to mental transformation, that having the average of the 5 closest people to you was very important. And obviously Scott being the closest person to me, if it wasn't for him, I don't know what I would have done. And so the thing is, you also have to be honest with yourself when you are at your weakest moment. Because no matter who writes a book about transformation, no matter if you see somebody that has $1 million, if you see somebody who has their stuff together, guess what? They still have struggles. And I speak through my struggle. And the thing that I'm grateful for is that when I am going through a very tough mental transformation, because of all the crazy stuff that I've been through in my life, I can actually acknowledge it, and I don't run from it. I bring it to the surface, and I, head on. And so, allowing myself to lean on somebody when I feel like I'm Superman was very humbling for me, and that's what moved my mental transformation. It's you can't do it by yourself. People say it takes a village. You can do your workouts by yourself, but guess what? Somebody's leading you through those, right? You can read a book, but guess what? Someone wrote that book. And so the world works in such a, my grandfather used to say, who I talk a lot about in the book, the Lord works in mysterious ways. And the world works in mysterious ways. We are all connected somehow.
Yes, honey.
6 degrees of separation now with social media is 1 degree of separation.
And it's so real.
And sometimes you're going through something, but there's so much motivation online that when you read something, guess what? You're going through it by yourself, but you had to lean on that one thing that you read or the one thing that you saw. And so I just realized that I couldn't do it on my own.
Yeah. One thing that popped in my head was when you were talking about, different stages of your life, and you were referencing that Shaun, like, and that was a very powerful thing too, because it made me think like, oh gosh, what would I tell the Anna 10 years ago right now?
Ooh.
Oh, I was just like, oh my God. And then even that made me think sometimes when things happen, it's not happening to you, but it's happening for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's really happening for you to either plant a seed, learn a lesson, or it be a blessing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, at a very young age, when I had someone literally coming into my bedroom at 2:00 in the morning and violating my physical being, you have to understand that at that age, there's a lot of things that go through your mind where you're very confused. Mm-hmm. And so if I didn't go back to that little boy,
I just wanted to hug him and kiss him.
I'm telling you guys right now, like I get the chills and I get a little bit emotional talking about that, but
the strength.
Like Shawnee, and you'll see, let me tell you something about Shawnee, who is the 8-year-old me. This man, I call it a man, this boy was like strong enough as a man. So here's the thing, I'll tell you this, and I'll put it in today's terms. Most of the time, when we get to a point where we lose a lot of weight, or most of the time when we get to a point where we have found a bank account that is successful, we say, oh my gosh, like I'm actually the strongest I've ever been. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you about who the strongest person you know is. That person who actually began the journey. That person who actually decided to get uncomfortable, to actually start and go along this journey, because the road is long. And you think you can create a roadmap, but sometimes you forget to create surface streets, right? And you forget to understand that there are going to be trials and tribulations and barriers, and sometimes you are the barrier along the way. But if you think about the person that actually walked that path,
the day one,
the first leg of the baton of the relay race of your life. If you actually think about the person who was 50, 60, 70 pounds overweight and said, I'm going to do my first power jump, I'm going to do my first jumping jack. Think of that person. That person leads the charge. That's the person you should be thanking. So for me, it's my 8-year-old self.
I love that. Well, look, before we get too deep, I do want to say that there's a phone call for you. We are actually going to talk to Taylor from Portland. Taylor's calling in. Are you ready to talk to Tay?
I'm ready. I love this. This is so cool.
This is going to be cute. Tay, there it is.
Oh.
Hi.
What's up?
Hey, girl.
So Anna calls you Tay. I'm going to call you Taylor. How are you? Well, I'm absolutely wonderful. I'm smiling. I'm not sure if you're watching us, but I'm smiling my face off because I've done Skype calls, but I've never done a call-in, so this is awesome.
Trust me, I'm smiling my mouth off. My cheeks hurt.
I hope they're strong. So what's up? How are you? Wait, first of all, before we get into anything else, how was your day?
My day was pretty good. It was pretty good. Can't complain.
So you're in Portland, so did you work out today? Did you have time to yourself today? What did you do today that just made you feel good? You made yourself feel good.
Well, it always feels good to get 2 tests out of the way, so that was good.
Come on.
All right.
And then I have a track trainer, so I've been with him a bit too, so I got to train a little bit with him.
So you were on the track?
No, we just it was just a gym, so no, not really.
But that's fine.
At
least you're working. Training is good. Mm-hmm. So so do you have this burning question that you've always wanted to ask? First of all, how long have you known Shaun T? I like to go to the foundation of
Oh my goodness. I've probably been working out with you since I was 9.
9?
No.
Yes, I was.
Honey.
Yes, I was 9.
Okay, so wait, so you were 9. So what was the first workout you've ever done with me?
I don't remember which one exactly, but it was from Insanity.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible.
Insane.
All right, so it had to be within the last 10 years. Wait, 2009 Insanity came out. Okay. So
So it was the year that it came out.
That's so cool. Well, that's awesome. All right, so what's your burning question for this evening?
Okay, so, well, first, I'm going to say thank you so much. You are the best trainer I've ever had.
Oh,
yes, I talk to you all the time through the TV screen. You helped me reach like my dream of like playing college volleyball, even though I'm short. And so you talk a lot about dance, but you are also a great athlete from what I've heard and what I've read. So do you have any advice for me as I head off to college as a student athlete?
First of all, I am so, I'm smiling because of something you said that's very important. Is you said I'm going to be a college volleyball player and I'm short, and it's interesting because defying the odds is what this book is about, and so I don't know. I just thank you so much for that question, and I wish you the best of luck. But I will say, being a student athlete is incredible, and you're gonna learn a lot. And the most important thing that you can do is, again, I was talking earlier about a number and not making a number matter. Your height doesn't matter. Your power matters. The internal power that you have and the skill that you've built to get to this moment is the thing that you have to carry along. And don't be afraid to ask for help and lean on somebody if you need it, and go in there with confidence, because nothing looks as good as confidence feels. And so when, there might be people that's taller, or you might think that's stronger, but you go back to that moment in pure cardio when you're doing power jacks, and I say, the stronger you get, the better you'll feel. So always strive ahead. Did that answer your question? Because I'm just going off.
Yes, that did. That helps a lot.
But
that like my competition, they're all a bit taller than me. They're like 5'10" to 6 foot. I'm over here on the shrimpier side, but knowing that it's not like the number doesn't matter. It just like matters how much like willpower you have to keep going hard.
Yes, and then another thing that's very important that I want you to think about, because going into a new venture, and this is for everyone who's listening, going into a new venture is crazy, and you feel uncomfortable. And, that's a big part of your journey in any transformation. But here's what I want you to remember no matter what. When you are in a game or in a match, I want you to, the beginning, you're going to have all this energy. When people start a new workout program, in the beginning, you have the energy. When people start in the beginning of the year and they have their New Year's resolution, they have all this energy. But when it really matters, it's about the last 70 meters. And so I talk about that in track terms, but in volleyball terms, it's about that last set. It's like, how hard can you go? How bad do you want it? How much can you stay calm when other people are going crazy? Because it doesn't matter about your height at that point. Because you know what? Actually, being quote unquote short, or like you said, shrimpy, that means, guess what? That means you can create the foundation for your team, and you can have the most power, because when someone has a strong foundation, they're able to balance themselves. When people reach plateaus in their life, they think that that's the end, and they're like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. Well, that's the rebalance and refocus. So you be the plateau, and you be the foundation of your team. And I wouldn't be me if I didn't say, you better get those good grades too.
We're gonna be rooting for you, girl.
Because the other thing is, and this is like anything else, no matter what you're doing or how hard you go, education, and I'm not just talking about the books, but how you educate yourself and how you talk to yourself is just as important as the activity that you're doing. And with fitness, that's why, again, for me, it's not about your biceps. It's not about abs and arms. It's about how you define your life. And so it's not always about the physical, because your mental stuff comes from your education. So make sure you stay strong. And I want you to graduate with honors.
Yes. Oh, that's so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Taylor. Do you mind telling us what school you're going to?
I'm going to University of Alaska Fairbanks.
Oh, okay, shucks. I would say I'm going to come and visit you, but it's a little cold up there, homie.
Yeah, no, I think last year the coach told me that I got to like -50, so that was after I committed, so that was...
That was after you committed. Commitment is key, Taylor. Commitment is key. Well, thank you so much for calling. Good luck. And if you leave me a message on my Facebook page where the visitor posts, I promise I'll check in and see how you're doing.
Okay, sweet. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Bye,
Good luck.
Tay-Tay.
Thank you.
Bye.
She's so cute.
I know. I love it.
Repping for the shorty bops. About to be killing it. Okay, so let's keep answering some questions.
Let's go.
So we got Priscilla from Gaylordsville, Connecticut.
Oh,
Okay,
snap.
never heard of it. Let's talk about it. How do you feel, or how do you deal with unsupportive partners when you're on your health journey, aka, this might be my little part, haters?
Okay. Well, I talk a lot about haters in the book. There is a whole activity on how to deal with haters. So you'll be able to read that or listen to it. But here's the thing. Now, I'm going to sit back for this one a little bit.
Honey. Talk to him. Talk to
So when
them.
it comes to spouses and you being fit and you being on this journey and you're like, I'm really fit and I don't have a supportive spouse, here's the thing. Fine. Accept it. Because guess what? If someone would have forced you to be healthy and someone would have forced you to be quote unquote like this, then you wouldn't have been ready and it would have been a struggle for you and you wouldn't have been mentally there. Now, again, that was a very, it's a broad question. If it's a person if your spouse is quote unquote hating on you because you are fit, then you continue to do you. You continue to spread happiness within you. You continue to let yourself strive to be the best that you can be. Because eventually, you know, it's not about you being fit. It's not about you being healthy. It could be about jealousy. And some people, what they need to see is your perseverance and how strong and how tough you are so that they can stop being a hater and they can join your crew. It's just like, what's that song, Nicki Minaj? Is it Swish, Swish, Swish?
Oh, yeah, with Katy Perry.
Another one in the basket. So I had this idea that if Katy Perry ever let me choreograph and direct the music video, which I think they have one now, my whole thing would have been about developing a crew that eliminates the haters with their superpowers. And so everyone that they encounter, they were like, everyone in the basket, and another one, and another one. And then the next line is like, another one in the casket. And so in the casket goes the negative energy, and the person that they just fought against now becomes a part of the positive crew. And so if you continue to do you, your positive energy is going to outweigh the negative energy. And what's going to happen is, you know, a mentor told me once, you know, if you don't tell yourself the truth today, guess what? It's going to come out like that song, I see your true color shining through. Like if it don't come out in the wash, you got to put it in the dryer. Yeah. And if it don't come out in the dryer, guess what? You got to hang and fold. And at some point it's going to fall out. So you just keep on doing you, and the haters are eventually going to join your tribe. It can be tough. And in some neighborhoods, when someone loses a lot of weight, they're like, oh my gosh, she's skinny. When really they're just jealous that they don't have the commitment to continue to be the best person that they can be. But the only way to combat that is to create a force field of positivity. So if they try to penetrate it, they can be stuck to the positiveness, but the negative energy will not even come into your life. So stay the course, slay the game, never give up, and show them that you are committed to being the best you possible. And the spouse, if they love you for real, they'll eventually join your tribe.
And they will let you be great, honey buns. Okay? So I actually want to switch gears a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Because y'all know me, I like to play little games.
Oh, we're playing games?
Have fun. Yeah, we're gonna play a game.
All right, this is a game.
We're gonna see how good you are, okay? So this is the game.
Okay.
22 questions in 2 minutes.
Okay, so where's the timer?
In my head, okay?
In my head.
Are you ready for this? And no cheating, and I'm keeping score.
All right, so, okay.
So 22 questions in 2 minutes. That's it.
All right.
I'm gonna ask.
You better ask fast because
I'm
gonna
fast.
make. Oh,
I'm
Scott.
ready for it.
Scott has the timer.
Come on, Scott. Scott
Here.
over here is being cute.
I'm gonna show them.
Photo bomb.
I'm gonna let them see the timer so we can get through this. Let's see.
Right, you ready?
I feel like you are Steve Harvey and
Okay.
I'm a contestant on the Family Feud.
Family Feud. Okay, I ain't got no Steve Harvey impersonation. That's all right. All right. Are you ready?
Tell me when you go. When you start reading, I'll push play.
I'm gonna say boom. Okay.
Okay.
5, 6, 7, 8, boom. Who is your greatest inspiration?
My grandfather.
Who would you like to trade places with if you could?
Serena Williams.
Ooh! Who makes you laugh the most?
Scott.
Who would you want to play you in a movie?
Chris Pratt.
Okay. What is your guilty pleasure?
Philly cheesesteaks with extra cheese, fried onions, salt, pepper, ketchup, everything.
Oh,
Okay.
that sounds good. Okay. What is one thing you need to have in your refrigerator at all times?
Coffee, bulletproof. Trust and believe.
Favorite ab workout?
Come on. Didn't I do a Shaun week ab workout? That one.
I thought you were going to say tuck, tight.
Oh, no, come on. Come on. We got 45.
Favorite car?
My Tesla.
Last person you called or text?
Last person I called or text was you and Alex.
Ever been starstruck?
Yes, I was starstruck when I met Chris Pratt 2 weeks ago. I think I was in heaven.
Item you would love to get your hands on up for an auction?
An item that I would give up?
That you want to get your hands on?
Oh, Roger Federer's racket.
Biggest pet peeve?
People who gang up on people, bullies.
Hate them. Coffee, favorite?
Bulletproof.
And last album you bought?
The last album I bought, it was a single. It's by this woman, Yeba. Like, I'm telling you, it slays the game. I'll tell you about it. Yes, go.
Oh, okay. Last movie you saw in the theater?
Jigsaw.
Color of your toothbrush?
White.
Last book you read?
The last, Tears Transformation, because I did the audiobook.
Middle name?
Charles.
Are you a morning person or night
Morning.
owl? Cause is dear to you.
Who?
What's the cause that's dear to your heart?
Oh, anti-bullying.
Okay, last gift you gave or received?
And, last gift I gave or received.
Why did my mind go all the way there, though? Like,
where's
gutter?
Scott, what was the last gift? Oh, the last gift I received was, I got so many gifts in the last 2 weeks because of the baby stuff. So I have my what used to be my gym is now full of baby presents from the baby shower registry.
Oh, the cuties. And last one, where do you want to go that you've never been?
Well, since we're after 2 minutes, where do I want to go that I've never been? Okay, so I want to tell you guys this story because I want you to know how creative I like to be, which is another superpower. So, one of the things I did for Scott's 40th birthday is we did an around the world trip, like The Amazing Race, because Amazing Race is one of our favorite shows. And so, Tanya the machine, her husband Derek helped me create the envelopes, and I came up with all the clues, and we did the whole thing. And so we did an around the world trip, and everywhere we went, Scott had to pull out the card, and he had to perform some sort of act or find somewhere that we've never been. Like in Tokyo, he had to do like an Anderson Cooper report. He had to get us to different places in Australia.
Wow.
It was crazy. But a place that I've never been that I really want to go, and this is going to be so bad. There's 2 places. What's the place in the middle of the Pacific Ocean that it's a little island? It's like that. It's like some really discreet island. No, that's not. No, not in the Pacific Ocean. In the Indian Ocean.
And then Maldives.
Maldives. Look, I was in the Indian Ocean. I went to what's that place we went to? Durban. Yeah. All right. So, but New Zealand, because I've been to Australia 4 or 5 times and I've never gotten down to New Zealand, so I want to go there.
Okay. So that was cute. You did okay.
2 minutes and 25 seconds is fine.
So look, we're gonna finish up with a few more questions, okay?
Okay.
So, Carla, San Diego, California.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
That used to be my joint. That was my show.
Pass the joint, pass the jam, turn out the lights and say it again. Hey. Okay.
New size routine. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Will this be your only book?
No. Listen, let me tell y'all something. This will not be my only book. I actually have like ideas for 4 books now, but this is just the first one. This is the foundation. So I'm hoping that you all enjoy it so very much that I have more.
Yes, it's so good. You gotta go get it. Okay, from Claudia in Colorado.
All right, Claudia.
Do you anticipate your next workout to be more like insanity or like size?
Like neither. Ooh. Wait, here's the thing. So just a couple days ago, I actually posted on Instagram stories because you can do this poll, and I'm actually going to do it on Twitter next. And The question was, would you rather have Shaun T create more of a strength program, because I never did a focused strength program, or more workouts like Insanity? And so 76% of people voted for a Shaun T strength program. But you know my stuff always is going to have a cardio element.
Yeah.
But I need you guys to understand something real quick. First of all, I'm going to say when, because I like to speak it into existence. When I do another program, it's the thing that I have in mind that I want to do is so in depth and good for you, and it's going to be all encompassing. It's going to be body, mind, soul, everything. So that's the goal. We'll see what happens, Carl.
Okay. Carl,
Don't hate.
Don't be hating now. Let us be great. Now, okay. This is actually a big question.
Okay.
It's like for real.
All right, here we go.
Cynthia in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Hey, Cynthia.
Hey, girl. She says, if I'm unable to quit my job, but it's the biggest cause of stress in my life, what can I do while at work to help lower my stress and improve my health?
All right, so I love this question because there are a lot of you out there that want to change your life, but more importantly, the job is the thing that's causing you stress, and it is crazy, and you can't leave because you have a family and you're depending on that paycheck. But here's the thing. In order to change your outputs, you have to change your inputs. That's a truth bomb. And so here's what I mean by that. When people have a job that they hate, the minute you walk into that place, regardless of whether or you are consciously doing it or not, you are emoting negative energy. Everything that's said to you and the things that you give out, no matter how hard you try to fake it, you know internally that you cannot stand this place or you despise it. So here's what you do. You change the game. You take control over your life. You take control over the job. There's something in that job, like most of the time we focus on things that we don't like.
Right.
And so my first couple jobs out of college where I liked them and got to a point where I was like, I'm not passionate about this.
Right.
I don't want to do this. But guess what? I still strive to get the promotion. I was still proactive in being able to tweak certain things so that I enjoyed it, so that I did very well, so that I still got the raise, so that I still got the promotion, so that I still was able to communicate with the people I worked with effectively and bring good energy to the space. So if you're in a job that you don't like and there's right now you are unable to leave it, here's what you do. You get the promotion, because by the small successful steps that you take to get yourself the promotion, guess what you're doing? You're making yourself more marketable outside of that job. I told Alex back there, Alex's Power from, she works for us. And I've always said to her, listen, I don't know if you're going to be with our company forever. We want her to be here. But at the end of the day, do the best that you can do. So just in case you go somewhere else, the person that you work for or your boss, quote unquote, will give you the recommendation to say this person, even in times when they didn't feel their best, or even in times where they were struggling, still came in with a positive attitude and still committed to what they needed to do to make the team great. So go into your job tomorrow, write a to-do list on the things that you can tweak every single day, because if you have to stay there, you have to make it the best that you can be.
Absolutely.
And plan your exit strategy. When I was in my house as a young boy and I was in a toxic environment, I had to stay there 2 years longer. I moved out of my house when I was 14 years old, but I did create an exit strategy that worked for me. And how am I going to survive in this place so that when I do leave, I can leave on a happy note? So think positive, tweak the things. And then last but not least, of course, we all have somebody to answer to at a job. You know what I'm saying? Even me, when I sign a contract to do something, I still have to appease the boss. I have to do what I need to do. But here's the thing. If you go into situations like it's yours, you are your own boss. How can you make this so that you actually own it? So go into that job and own it. Even if you don't like, I used to work at McDonald's, and ain't nothing wrong working at McDonald's, trust and believe, because there's ways to move up in the company. But I made quarter pounders, double quarter pounders, and they would say 10 on the turn, and I ain't want to hear. I was hot, grease was going up in my face, but you know what I did? I moved over to Chuck E. Cheese, and I used to be Chuck E. Cheese.
I was gonna say, her, that one job right there. That's hilarious.
Yeah, and I talk about how I worked at Chuck E. Cheese in the book, and it was amazing. But guess what? Today, at this moment and anytime I actually get on stage, guess what? When I'm nervous, I go back and say, you know what, Shaun? You were a mouse inside of a costume. And so embrace this moment and live. That was the first time that I performed on stage.
I was going to say, that was the start of the production.
Right? So you have to utilize these moments and make yourself marketable so that when you do leave, you leave on a positive note and just try to stay as positive as you can and do the best as you can. And like I always say, slay the game.
One of your superpowers, be creative in your situation. Okay, because I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I got a rep for my NC folk. Yeah, right. Tangela from China Grove, North Carolina.
Do you know where that is?
I do actually.
Oh, okay.
I have one friend that lived there. When writing this book, what was your core message you wanted people to hear from you?
Trust and believe.
Boom.
Trust.
That's it.
And believe.
Yeah.
Because I've done it, and a lot of you have done it. You read a book, you feel extremely motivated, but you finish the book, and you still don't trust and believe in who you are. And they were words that are inspiring and motivating words. But that's why, in this book, after you read something, I put you to the test. So you can't finish this book and say, I didn't work on myself. You are going to work on yourself. One of my favorite books was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah.
You know, and that book really, you know, gave you a roadmap to success. And I wanted to do something like that, but in a way that you really related everything back to yourself. And so trust and believe in who you are, because if you don't, no one else will. And the other thing, you know, when you conquer your mind, when you read this and you go into your mind and you have that mental power, you will transform your life. Conquer your mind, transform your life. And you will be able to do it over and over again when you utilize the tools.
I love that.
Thanks.
Almost out of time, y'all. This has been the bomb. The way we can finish.
Okay.
That's a really good question. This would be something that I think everyone could just kind of have as a takeaway.
Okay.
To begin this journey while you're reading and while you're starting off your day. And it is from Whitney.
Hey, Whitney.
Hey, girl.
Where's she from?
Concord, New Hampshire. And she says, what is one thing you do every day to make sure you start your day off to a good start, and advice that everyone can do? What is your thing that you do? Leave the people with. Leave them with it, honey. Leave them with it.
Mirror moments, baby. I talk to myself in the mirror and I'm happy about it. See, most people, if you ride on the subway in New York City and you get on a train and someone's like talking to themselves, you see everyone at one end of the car and the one person's down there by themselves. But guess where I sit? I sit next to the person that's talking to themselves, because I want to know what you talking about.
Yeah.
And everyone thinks that's a crazy thing to do. But I think if you start your day off and you actually look yourself in the eyes and you're honest with yourself about what it is that you want, if you're honest about what it is that you want, then guess what? You start your day off giving yourself something. Because the majority of us wake up, we go right to the phone, and it's, what do I have to get done today? And the majority of those things is, even if it's paying bills, it's still out there.
Right.
But what are you going to do? And so superpower number 5 is the idea of being selfish, and in a good way. And a lot of times, you know, when somebody tells me I look good, now don't be turned off by this. But when somebody tells me I look good, when people used to tell me like, oh my gosh, you look so nice, I'd be like, no. Because one of the things that I didn't like about myself was my face. I always thought my cheeks, I'm like, my mom gave me these cheeks and I don't like them. And I used to like always shy away from the compliment. But guess what I do now? Someone's like, oh my God, you look so good. I'm like, I know. I'm like, I'm like, you realize it too? Holy shit. Like, this is great. And then I'm like, no, thank you.
Right.
I say thank you and whatever. Yeah. But the reason why I do that is because for so long, when someone complimented me, I would be like, no, because I was always thinking of the thing that I didn't like. So look in the mirror, give yourself positive self-talk. And the other thing is, you know, what is the one part of your body that you actually like about yourself? You know, I'm not going to tell you what mine is. You have to read about it, but you know.
I bet I
know. Hey, but you know what I mean? So just like really believe that you can start your day off giving yourself something. And that's what Tears for Transformation. A transformation is yours. You own that. Nobody else can take that away. No one can take your story away. No one can take your power away. No one can take the strengths that you gain from your struggle. So own it and start your day off every single day giving yourself the time. And
that
then
was
so
the bomb. I think that we have 2 more things. One, make sure you go and cop this book at ShaunTbook.com. It is available now, right? Right now?
Yep,
right now.
go to ShaunTbook.com and you'll get an autographed copy.
Right after this stream. And then,
so the other thing is the Golden Autograph book. So here's the Golden Autograph book. It looks black, but guess what? I had to do something special to make sure nobody just signed something gold. And what's really cool about it is there's another thing hidden in this particular book where I'll know that it's the book that I sent. So, but you don't know who's gonna get it. It's gonna be random. So get your book at ShaunTbook.com. I'll give you this one. It's they're all special. And then what was the other thing? ShaunTbook.com.
ShaunTbook.com.
What was that? Oh, I forgot.
Get the book. Ooh.
Golden ticket. It was 2 more things.
You love everybody?
That was the thing. So you get the golden autograph and you win a trip for you and any special guest that you have to any one of the Shaun T Transforms America book tour locations. So that's, and you have to live in the United States. But if you have a friend that wants to fly you to the United States, I'll fly you from that state with them. Right?
That's lit, though.
Because that international life is a lot.
Right.
Trust and believe.
Right.
So I do want to end to say thank you. I hope you stuck around. If not, come back if you came back. And just trust and believe in who you are. Thank you. I'm so excited about the book. It comes out November 7th. The other thing that I said is I want to always push the audiobook. I love listening to audiobooks and podcasts in the car. And, I actually do them over and over again because sometimes it sinks in if you hear things over and over again. And I narrated it, so it is my voice, trust and believe. And I will give you a little nugget of information. It was the hardest thing that I've ever done to read an audiobook. But the crazy thing is now I have this secret passion to not only write another book and do the audiobook, but I love doing it now. Like, I think it's so fun. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Let's, tell everyone about it. Help transform people's lives. Give it as a gift for Christmas. Comes out November 7th. And just, I just want to, one of the goals is to really push the book out there so everyone in America can be motivated and everyone in the world can be motivated and inspired.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you, Anna.
You're welcome. Because I'm your friend, too. I'm going to give Fred a hug here. Mwah. Go get the book. Love you.
Thank you, guys. Talk to you later. Peace out.